Network. This is OpenLine.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to OpenLine. Thank you for being with us tonight. We are continuing to talk about this pandemic, which obviously is the main topic of conversation in every way. Tonight, we're talking about the workers, specifically service employees who have been dealing with so much. Is their workplace safe? Will they remain employed? These are some of the questions they are dealing with, and frankly, so many other workers are dealing with as well. Happy to have with us via Zoom, because again, we are social distancing. I'm here all alone, but via Zoom, we have with us David Rutledge. He is with the Laborers International Union of North America. David, thank you for being with us. Hope you can hear us. Can you hear us? No, maybe. All right, I can't quite hear, but why don't we start out with this? Can you explain Laborers International Union of North America? Who exactly do you represent, and what are some of the things they're facing right now?
The International Union of North America is a union that covers both the United States and Canada. We have over 500,000 members across both those nations in the construction industry primarily, but we represent people that do all kinds of work both in the public and private sector. Here locally in Nashville, and probably the main reason I'm on tonight is we represent about 900 blue-collar workers at Vanderbilt University and at the Vanderbilt University Medical Center. That includes, on the university side, about 800 folks over there in dining, groundskeeping, janitorial, and skilled craft maintenance employees. And then at the medical center, another 100 or 150 skilled craft maintenance workers, who keep the lights on and the plumbing working over there. So that's who we represent here in Nashville, as well as construction workers across the state with TVA facilities and in private construction as well. I'm
fascinated by what construction workers are up against, and I'll ask you about that in a little bit. But what are you seeing with the workers you're representing here in Nashville? I guess specifically the Vanderbilt workers in dining, janitorial, groundskeeping. Are they still working? Are they not working? Kind of what's their situation right now?
We've got a very good relationship with Vanderbilt. We've represented workers there for almost 50 years now, and obviously, like any 50-year relationship, that has its ups and downs. But Laura and Cleo and several of the folks in HR at Vanderbilt have been very good to work with, and we've come to an agreement during this crisis with them, covering all of the employees on the university side. Our dining workers basically are staying at home. They're not being exposed to any danger now, but they're still being paid as if they were showing up to work. And on the what they call plant ops, so that would be the janitorial and craft maintenance and groundskeeping, they're working very limited shifts, but are still being paid their full wages as if they were working a full week. And so, we're very lucky to have a productive relationship with Vanderbilt, and honestly, that's what collective bargaining is all about. It's a collaborative relationship between us and the employer, between the workers and the employer, and it's worked out very well in this case, where our members are being protected both physically and financially from this crisis, and the university is able to get the job done that it needs to get done as far as maintaining a safe working environment for everybody. A place that students, when they come back, hopefully in the fall, will be able to be confident that it's not a place that they might be endangered to return to. So that's sort of the situation for the workers there at the university. Of course, on the hospital side, those are very essential employees. Like I said, keeping the lights on and keeping everything running in what is really our city's premier medical facility. And one that'll be when this crisis peaks, will be dealing with bearing the brunt of those patients coming in. And fortunately, our members over there and the folks that we represent are able to do their job safely. They're provided with the protective equipment that they need, and are able to do it in a way that, like I said, keeps the hospital running, which is the most important thing but also keeps them safe. And so, we're very proud of our relationship with the university and with the medical center right now. So
that's really two separate areas. So one would be at Vanderbilt, janitorial, I guess groundskeeping and dining. One would be there at Vanderbilt, and that's a remarkable arrangement you have. Have they said that there's a time at which that arrangement will run out? The fact that they're able to be home now or work less now and still be paid is a great thing, and a lot of workers don't have that. But has Vanderbilt said we can do that for only so long, or what if this lasts a lot longer?
In conversation with the university, obviously we hope that everybody will be able to continue to experience their regular wages for as long as possible. But it is a very, as we all know, in every facet of our society right now, things are fluid, and we're still working that out. But like I said, we're very fortunate that our members are still getting paid now. There are so many people who don't have that happening for them and are suffering for it. I couldn't tell you what's happening over at Belmont or at Lipscomb. If you're watching the show right now and you work over there, they might work for a contractor or whatever else. But this is what having a union can get for you. It's a good situation right now, and the good thing is we've maintained a consistent dialogue with the university. We're talking to them on at least a weekly, if not every day or every other day basis as things are developing. So it's, like I said, it's a very good collaborative relationship right now, and we're glad that that's the case.
And how many workers are we talking about, dining and groundskeeping there at Vanderbilt? How many are we talking about?
About 800, 700 or 800. About half of those are dining, and the other half falls into, like we said, like I called plant ops, which would be groundskeeping, janitorial, and skilled craft maintenance. Those workers being, plumbers and electricians and carpenters and the folks who actually keep, the facilities running there.
And then, so the other side, so there's that one side there. Then the other side are people that are actually working with the hospital in the middle of all of this. And now tell me, how many people are you representing that do that, and what are their jobs exactly? What are they doing?
50 people, and so again, those are what we call skilled craft maintenance workers. Again, that's plumbers, that's electricians, and to be clear, that's not just, we're not talking about keeping the toilets flushing correctly. You're talking about some very complicated HVAC systems to keep air and oxygen flowing. We're talking about wiring systems that provide the electricity for these hospital rooms that I can't understand. It's very complicated stuff, and I'm glad that it's the folks that we represent who are keeping those lights on, because I'm not sure who, I want somebody who's very, very qualified to be keeping the lights on and the air flowing in a hospital room, whether I'm there or whether anybody else is there.
How concerned?
So yeah, it's.
Well, sorry. How concerned are those workers, because they're right in the middle of it, about their safety? Again, there's some workers that are worried about losing their job. There are other workers that have to be very worried about their safety. Has that come up, and what's being said about that?
Any complaints from our members about that specifically? Again, our relationship, our contractual relationship with the medical center states that in these kinds of situations, they need to be provided with the correct equipment. That's not to say people aren't worried. If an electrician at Vanderbilt University Medical Center goes to work in the morning and leaves his family, his or her family at home, they're going to be worried about what's going to happen in this crisis. That's only human. But as far as what the university's done to make sure, or the medical center has done to make sure that they're protected and provided for, they're right now, as far as I can report, the situation's good.
And yeah, so good, they're provided for, but what are you hearing from workers about just being worried in general? Are they? I mean, they would only be human if they weren't. These are remarkable times, and they're really on the front lines.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, what'll be interesting to see is down the road, there are bound to be psychological effects from dealing with this crisis. I can only imagine once the crisis peaks what it is that they'll be seeing day in and day out as they go to work, and that's got to be something that they're all thinking about. So that's certainly something that's going to be weighing on everybody's minds, and they want to make sure that when they leave work, they're not carrying anything back with them. And again, I think as much as can be done to prevent that is being done right now. But yeah, there's always going to be that worry. I can't imagine, if I were in that position, I'd lose sleep over it, So
those are the workers you represent here in Davidson County, in Nashville. You mentioned also construction workers that you represent, I guess, across the state and in other places. I've been very interested. Has construction stopped? Because I haven't seen it really totally stop here in Nashville. But has construction stopped? Are construction workers concerned that it hasn't, or are they concerned that it is stopping? I mean, I guess what are you seeing with construction workers specifically? Not here, but the ones you represent in other places.
And so far as that, it will remain to be seen over the coming months. But, the nature of construction being as it is, a lot of that work is done outside, and so you're in environments that are not close quarters. They're not, people right up next to each other. To the extent that particular thing is happening, we expect, and our contracts provide, that the employer will provide them with the personal protective equipment that they need to be able to do their job safely. And of course, a lot of our folks are using respirators, not necessarily to prevent against COVID-19, but to prevent against, asbestos contamination. And, there's all kinds of environmental hazards in a construction site that our folks are already running across, and fortunately are already trained to deal with. So this is, that's something that, this is a sort of a new level of hazard that they're facing, but they're already well trained to do their jobs safely. So right now, I think a lot of folks are happy that they're able to keep going to work. The future, we'll see what the future holds as far as the construction market here in Tennessee and nationwide. But as of right now, it doesn't seem to be having a huge impact so far.
Construction's still going on, right?
Absolutely.
Wow. Okay. All right, we will take a break. Why don't we take a break, and then we will start taking calls. We've kind of set the table here. Maybe you have a question about your job, or certainly a question about what you have heard with the jobs that he has been talking about. We want to hear from you. Give us a call. Tell us what you're going through, or ask a question, leave a comment, whatever it may be. The number is 615-737-PLUS, 615-737-7587. Take a break and take calls right after this.